What's up guys, this is the Guitar Gent coming at you with a brand new reaction video and you knew it. You knew that I couldn't possibly stay away from Ginger for more than 2 weeks. If you're familiar with the channel guys, you know that Ginger has been possibly the band that has had the strongest impact on me. I'm honestly, I've been blown away, like truly blown away. And I have the feeling, that very rare feeling that you get when you get into and run into a new band and you feel, oh, okay, I ran into something that's very special. Not to say that all the other bands that we've discovered on the channel are not amazing. Bands like Bandmate, Love Bites, there are so many guys, so many fantastic band, and the Vagaki band. So many, again, from the Japanese scene, from Canada, from Scandinavian countries, from everywhere in the world. But with Ginger, I have that that gut feeling that this is something special. So I do want to explore a bit more here on the channel. At the same time, guys, I will venture off and listen to more of Ginger in my own time, again, because of this feeling that I have that this is something very good. I will let you know, of course, when I do and what I will be listening to, but I'm very curious to see if they can also pass, as I think they will, the album test. So, you know, one thing is listening to one song, one thing is sitting down with a record and going, you know, one song, then another, and following the order that they planned out, let's say. So very curious about that. Let me know, actually, which is the best record to listen to, if I should go on a chronological order, if I should start from a specific record, if there is a record that really stands out to you guys, if you're a fan of the band. This intro is already very long, but the song that we're going to listen to today, guys, it's called Sit, Stay, Roll Over. Now, it's from 5 years ago, at least the music video is. And I'm very curious because I think that the ones that we listened to together were a bit more recent. And to be honest, this was not the biggest request on the channel, but I love the thumbnail and I love Tatiana's hair on the thumbnail. So yeah, I guess that's just as good as a reason to listen to this song, guys. Without further ado, Ginger, Sit, Stay, Roll Over. Let's go. Oh, Jesus Christ. Talking about intensity right off the bat. Oh! I don't know if it's because of the hair that she's giving me Sepultura vibes. Oh. Oh. Oh, the bass. Oh my god. Oh, lovely break. Oh my god, the blast beat. Wow. it is so far the most straightforward throughout the whole thing, aggressive throughout the whole song. But they can always switch it up, so let's see. Oh, I love that sound that's layered upon the drum. Wow. This band is not normal again, guys. Wow, such an intense song, start to finish. They didn't stop for. I mean, they did stop for a couple of seconds in the break section, but you know what I mean. I wouldn't say that this was their, let's say, the most emotionally charged song among the ones that I've listened to, but musically speaking, this was the most intense for sure. For sure, there weren't any major switch ups, and again, it makes sense probably that this is a bit of an older song, because I can see and I can imagine, if I think about bands, the way that a band usually develops their songwriting, its songwriting, I should say, it makes a lot of sense. You start doing usually things that are a bit more straightforward, and then you start exploring, especially if you have influences like Ginger. Now, this might very well be the case that in the same record, maybe in which Sits There All Over is contained, there are a lot of songs that are already progressive and crazy and exploring different song structures and stuff like that. But I would expect to see, a bit more, to see and hear a bit more of a straightforward metal from them back then than compared to what they do now, of course. And we've seen that with songs such as I Speak Astronomy, for example, or Teacher Teacher, even the more popular ones, let's say like Pisces, there is this very strong contrast between the slower and the more aggressive elements of the songs. And but so far I hadn't heard a song that was throughout the whole thing, as I mentioned, aggressive, like constantly aggressive, constantly brutal, without any major openings of the song into something that's a bit more ethereal and spacious, let's say. Which is fine by me. Now, I do love that. I love that. That's one of my favorite things in music, and that's why I love so much bands like Ginger when they do that, bands like Opeth, which, as I always say, it's probably the one band that reminds me the most of Ginger. It's the other way around, of course. It's Ginger is the one band that reminds me the most of Opeth out of all the bands that have come up recently. And Opeth followed a fairly similar path as well, like starting to do things a bit more traditionally death metal, let's say, and then including more and more and more and more and more progressive elements, up to the point, as we all know, guys, that nowadays they do progressive rock basically with some very disguised, very well disguised, I want to say, metal influences in there. but without the scream, the growling and everything. This was a fantastic song, honestly. Aggressive, but fantastic. Performances wise, I mean, the drummer, I know that this is the older drummer, and you guys told me that he's still involved with the band. He just couldn't basically keep up with the touring schedule, which I think is nice. Like, it's good to know that they didn't, you know, and that they didn't leave with harsh feelings or something like that. It's just, if that was a common choice, it's always very good to know. Especially as a musician, I feel like I'm happy to hear that musicians still get along when they break apart from bands and stuff like that. He was fantastic, so aggressive. Again, maybe he's a bit less creative than the new guy that they have on board, but it was so solid. The blast beat, like that blast beat, I think out of the 4 minutes 20 seconds, 3 minutes and a half must have been blast beat. Crazy, crazy aggressive drumming. Perfect, perfect. Exactly what the song needed in this case. The bass, as we always know, very creative, and the same thing you can say about the guitar player. Again, when there is more aggression going on, that's something I've noticed with Ginger, but it's something that you can usually notice with most of the bands out there. When things are more aggressive, there is a bit less space for creativity, let's say, especially when it comes to the riff. Of course, you can be very creative with your solos, and you know, because those are the sections where you can basically unleash your technical, mental scales or whatever it is. But in this one, they did manage to do that. There were some very interesting tapping patterns, I think both in the bass and the guitar. In the video, I only saw the guitar player doing that, but I think that there was something like that going on with the bass as well. And I can only imagine that that was played by tapping just because of what we've seen in other videos from Ginger. They don't shy away from that, absolutely. Actually, they do embrace that quite a lot. And then the vocal performance, I mean, what can you say? What more can you say about Tatiana? It's just, she has to be one of the best singers in the world right now. No doubts about that. Because she has a fantastic clean voice, and then she manages to transition extremely quickly, smoothly, and so well into such a brutal, aggressive tone, dirty vocals, growling and screaming. It's just something that you don't find that often. Again, especially the quality of, there are many singers, for example, in metal music that have a fantastic growling, but then they don't have a strong, clean vocals. And the other way around is true as well. So maybe you're very good at clean singing, then when you go into harsh vocals, you struggle a little bit. Maybe with technique as well, so you can't really push that much because you run the risk of hurting your voice. With her, it's just, she can do anything, anything. It's mind blowing, honestly. That's fantastic. I don't have any more adjectives, to be honest, to describe her voice and the way she sings. It's just something out of this world. I'm very happy that I picked this one, guys, because it's a phase of the band that we had explored in sections. For example, in I Speak Astronomy, the first half of the song is very brutal and aggressive. Not as much, I want to say, especially not so much, meaning for so long within the context of the song, as I pointed out many times during the video already. But it's nice to see also this aspect, probably a bit simpler, but that still has its place within a band's discography, especially a band like Ginger, I can imagine. And also in the band set list, I'm sure that this, I mean, if they can allow to have a song like this off of their set list, that means that I'm still in for a wonderful journey because that will mean that they have so many fantastic songs. Guys, thank you so much for recommending me this. As I said, this was not the biggest request. I'll make sure to get to that soon enough as well on the channel. And as I said, please let me know, guys, what you think of the song, of course. And also let me know which record I should start my, let's say, my deep dive with, my proper listening experience when it comes to Ginger. You know, guys, my favorite way of listening to music is sitting down with a record and going track one to the last one. Just sitting with it, listening to it, following the flow of the record. That's also a very important aspect. So I'm very curious to see really if they can hold up to that, because the songs taken by themselves are phenomenal. If the record is phenomenal as well, then I'm honestly starting. I will probably start to think that it is one of the best bands around overall, uh, without considering genres and male singers, female singers. I don't care. Just fantastic music, guys. Thank you so much for recommending me this and for tuning in and for watching me talk about music as always. I do appreciate it so much. Leave me your recommendations in your comments, and I'll see you very, very soon with the next one. Have a great weekend, guys.